Hey, so today's video is going to be about the importance of recognizing nature and appreciating it, which in its own definition will mean just the world around, the beings around, the simple sensations of the wind, the hot, the cold, all that stuff. So, let me get into the general benefit of it. The general benefit is mindfulness. But you might be wondering what does that mean? So, mindfulness is what keeps you in the moment and aware of everything around you. To be mindful is to be aware. And most of us aren't exactly mindful without doing like a meditation or learning to appreciate nature and the stuff around us. But the question would be, why is it so important to be mindful? And in my own opinion and experience, it's super important because it just makes you happier, makes you smarter, makes you consider more things. It makes things come to you easier, ideas, thoughts. You'll resonate solutions to things way easier, and you'll consider things before you act. Because when you're mindful, you recognize that there's more around than just you. So your ideas and your thoughts and your actions, they have to go through a bit of a consideration for what about the animals and the people around? What will happen if I do this, or what will happen if I say this? And the world around, what will happen if I do this or say this? Like, it's it's not always the same, of course. I mean, I could say something obscene in the middle of nowhere and it would affect nothing because no one heard it. So to be mindful, maybe not like that, but instead of starting a fire in the forest because I wanted to roast some marshmallows, I should probably think about how can I contain that fire. Now, of course, that's common sense, but it's just more of a metaphor. So, what I mean more specifically is when you're on a journey for anything, any purpose, any journey, maybe it's just finding your purpose or finding your journey. One of the most valuable things you can do is just be aware and let things come to you. Because when you're mindful and aware, you'll let like things will just come to you. Because oddly enough, when you think only about yourself and only about your purpose, thoughts won't come to you as easy as if you thought about everything else. Think about, how will this affect my mom and dad? How about my siblings? What about my future family? My future kids, wife or husband? How will it affect the future me? Because when you're thinking in the moment and you're not mindful and aware of everything around you, and you're just thinking about yourself and the one thought that you have in your mind, which is, well, it could be anything, but for this example, it's just finding my purpose. It's much harder to do because you won't consider everything else and why it's purposeful. Is it purposeful to those people as well? Like, does it matter? Do you want your goals to matter? To other people, I mean. Do you want it to matter to other people? Because it'll always matter to you, but, you know, if you're on a journey to find something that'll last on you and other people, will it matter for other people? And the only way to kind of get to that stage even is to first be mindful, learn to appreciate nature. So, in the area around. But yeah, that's the little lecture about mindfulness. It just makes you more happy, more aware, more careful with decisions, and it makes things come to you better. That's the summary. So, so the question is, how do you exactly appreciate nature, and what does that entirely imply? So, for that, let's say, or let me tell you a story actually. Let me tell you a story, two of them. So, about 2 days ago, actually, I was out with my dogs. just in the backyard. I let them out every morning. They do their business. And I was just doing a meditation there. That's what I do in the morning with them. And it just, you just notice the birds and the wind and the feeling of the heat of the sun. You feel the porch or maybe the grass, whatever you're on. You feel it, that chair that you're sitting on, maybe just the ground. You feel it. And it's so nice. But what you don't always see, which comes right after you get through a meditation or just a deep attention session per se, what you don't usually see is just how nature works. You'll notice all those things, but you should also notice and appreciate how nature works. It's so vital because on that day that I did that, what I noticed was I looked up, there was all these birds. I'm telling you, it's like you just watch for the birds that you hear. And I saw there was a bunch of birds flying in like a circle and all around my neighbor's house for like 5 minutes, and then they went away. But I watched it and it was almost fascinating. It almost brought me to just a more peaceful state, right? It's not always about like birds will help you find your purpose, but watching the birds, they make you feel happy. They make you think, but they also make you calm and they make you feel happy, and it's it's interesting. And I just was watching the birds go around, and I was watching the grass, it was blowing with the wind, and my dogs, they were rubbing their backs on the ground because they're itchy. It's basic stuff. I would have noticed it anyway, but the difference is that I notice it with a bit more punch now, right? It's not just about knowing it's there, it's about looking at it and thinking, why is it there? And being grateful that it's there. Thinking about how, you know, like the deeper things, like those birds. They do this all the time. They've been alive for a while and this is their routine. Is that not cool? That's like it makes you think. Because in the world, we think about our lives and we think about our big things, but if you think deeper, you start to realize, there's billions of bugs. There's like millions of different birds and animals. There's trillions of different micro things, microorganisms, but they all have an individual life. It's very interesting. It makes you think and be like things will come to you and you're happier. That's what I've noticed with that. And my second story is it also makes it is a like the quick principle is that it makes you a lot more aware of just the fact that other things have lives and they do things and they're important too. Because the other day, I'll try and make this one quick. There was a fly in my mom's room, and she was trying to shoo it away, and it wouldn't go. It wouldn't move. It wouldn't even flinch. She even ended up touching it with her finger a bunch, and the fly never even twitched. Which I think we all know that never happens. If you shoo a fly like this, even it will like it goes away. It doesn't just stick there. Never, never. But what managed to happen was we figured it had to go out. It wanted to go outside. Kept going to the window. It wanted to go outside. We could have killed this fly easily. I could have picked up like a book or something and just smashed it because it wasn't moving, right? It would have been such an easy kill, right? That's the first instinct. But due to my probably my meditation earlier that day, I figured that it was a lot more peaceful to try and at least bring it outside before killing it because it was calm. It allowed us to touch it. And you'll never hear this I picked up the fly. You know, like when you pick up a ladybug, you just put your finger out and they crawl right on. I did this with a fly, and then I got to walk it out of the house. But you never get to do that. Never. And the first instinct we would all have would be to just kill the fly because flies are annoying, right? But if you're a little bit more mindful that, you know, that fly has a life, it has a role, it's a living being that has its own interesting ways. I'm not saying obsess over animals and flies. I'm just saying understand that this world is bigger than us. It's small things like that that make us think that the world is bigger than us, and it is. We're all compact on ourselves, and we don't think about how there's all these other things. And doing that with that fly, it was really interesting. And in fact, it kind of sparked this video for me because I really thought about it, and it was like, you know, it's so. It made me think. It just you never see that, right? And that's a story I'll have for a while, but I never could have had that story if my first instinct was to just kill it. Which is why it's important to appreciate nature before you strike it down, per se. I mean, if there's a spider and you can't get it out of your house, I mean, maybe. Or if it's a threat, like a poisonous one, then yeah, kill it. But it shouldn't be our first instinct to just take something of nature and cast it aside or cut it down, you know? Not saying that that's what we do all the time, but I'm saying that if we were a little bit more aware, we would find things that make us think, that make us more happy, that bring us ideas, that bring us memories, that make us more grateful. Because that was humbling too. How many people get to actually do that? And then out of all that, it was really, it's a weird spiral, but it made me think too, you know, yet again, look at the chances that we all have for life and the fact that you and me were picked out of like millions of sperm otherwise. I know that's a little awkward, but it's true, right? You and me were picked out of millions of sperm. The ones to be picked out of millions. And we get to experience this world and all its wonderful qualities. So why don't we learn to appreciate it to its maximum? It makes it, I'm telling you, if you don't do it already, it makes you so much happier. It makes you so much more aware. It brings thoughts to your mind that will give you ideas, that will give you like actionable things that and steps you can take. Like this. I could have posted a different video today, I'm sure, but this came to my mind because I appreciated nature and I thought that that's valuable. It makes a huge difference in your day-to-day life, and people will notice when you're happier, when you're more calm, when you spend more time outside. It'll make you just so much smarter, so much better. I don't need to say it again. You'll be better all around, better. And then you can make the world better too. You ever think about that? That's something. Because in order to make the world good, you need to be good. So be good. Make the world good. Once you make it good, make it great. But first you got to be great. So, you know, keep the spiral going. Isn't that the whole chain? But one of the most important things is to be mindful and aware of nature specifically. Be aware of yourself, but also nature. I talked about this in my sleep video too. But you shouldn't just be aware of the world when you're going to sleep. Be aware of the world in the middle of the day or at the beginning of the day. Maybe it's best if you do beginning, middle, and end of the day 3 times. You find a way to meditate or just be aware. Take time to focus your thoughts, to appreciate, and it will make your day far better, and people will notice it, people will see it, and you'll get far better results. It'll be easier for you to do everything. From working to talking to that pretty girl that you saw at the store. I don't even know what you want to do, but it'll be easier because you're feeling positive today. Feelings and feelings in your mind can dictate things crazy. So just do what I said. Just try it out for a little. Be mindful of the world. Think about thoughts when they appear, like this one. Think about this thought. Let it unravel a bunch of different things. You'll figure stuff out. You'll be humbled and grateful. And you'll be far happier. Anyway, that's about it for this video, my friend. I hope you can do it and like for a little bit and see the results after a little bit of time. I hope you can find much benefit in this. I hope it helps you a ton. But share down below when you do it if you want. Share down below what happened with you. I want to hear. How has this helped you? Come back in a week if you do it for 7 days. Tell me, what do you feel? Tell me. But until then, that's all. Take care, my friend.